Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. Today we are diving into a really fascinating dataset to systematically tackle what's known as the mixed fruit challenge. If you're the kind of person who just loves taking absolute chaos and organizing it into clean, understandable numbers, well, you are definitely in for a treat today.
Right off the bat, our source material hits us with this incredibly high-energy question. Are you ready for a delicious adventure? And honestly, yeah, we are. The narrator frames this counting task not as some boring standard audit, but as a thrilling analytical journey. It completely flips the script and shifts your mindset from just passive observation to really active, eager participation.
So let's look at Section 1, the problem, a chaotic environment. Picture this. We're presented with a totally unorganized, chaotic jumble of apples, bananas, and grapes just kind of floating in visual noise. But our parameters are super clearly defined. The mixed fruit challenge is the task of taking this blended group of distinct fruits and systematically calculating their exact quantities. We're not just staring at a screen here. We're on a literal mission to bring order to all this fruity chaos. Which brings us to Section 2, isolating the variables, the methodology. Look, we can't just eyeball this and guess the total, right? We need a solid game plan. The source specifically instructs us to focus on one subset at a time. Step 1, find apples. Step 2, count bananas. Step 3, tally grapes. By turning all that visual noise into a structured, step-by-step procedure, this complex problem suddenly feels totally manageable.
Okay, executing step 1. The source highlights our first target variable, pinging each item. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, we've successfully extracted our very first data point, exactly 4 red apples. Having this isolated metric immediately gives us a solid foothold in the dataset.
Moving right along to our second variable. And the methodology holds up perfectly here. The source shifts focus, filtering and isolating the next subset. 1, 2, 3. We can officially confirm the successful isolation and quantification of 3 yellow bananas. You can see how the whole picture is really starting to take shape now.
And finally, we apply the process one last time to mop up the remaining items in our data pool. A precise tally of this final subset yields another solid metric, 3. We've successfully isolated 3 bunches of purple grapes, which means our raw data collection phase is completely finished.
Now for Section 3, completing the data set, visualizing the spread.
Before we synthesize these isolated variables, we really need to understand exactly what we're working with. This breakdown beautifully illustrates the exact distribution. 4 red apples, 3 yellow bananas, and 3 bunches of purple grapes. I mean, we have gone from total chaos to absolute structural clarity. It's awesome.
Moving into Section 4, the grand total, the synthesis.
Now, here's where it gets real. We've organized the categories, sure, but now we actually have to combine them. The source poses the ultimate question. If we count all of them together, how many fruits do we have in total? And to really build the hype, they kick off this dramatic 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
10. That's right. The grand total is 10. We successfully synthesized all those separate data points into a grand total of 10 fruits. The apples, the bananas, and the grapes, when combined through our really careful methodology, bring us exactly to our answer.
And finally, Section 5, the final takeaway, resolution. Honestly, what we just examined goes way beyond a simple tally. It really proves the massive value of breaking complex problems down into bite-sized pieces. And for doing that, the source narrator leaves us with this super earnest validation. You are a counting superstar. By following the data and staying focused, you absolutely are.
So here's the crucial point, and I want to leave you with this final thought. When you're faced with a massive, chaotic jumble of information, whether that's at work, in your studies, or just in everyday life, how will you break down your next mixed-up challenge into solvable steps? Just remember the apples, the bananas, and the grapes, and you're always going to be able to find your grand total. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.